What up, y'all? It is your boy Wheels. We are on the second episode of my show Inner Circle with Wheels, where I interview my talented friends who are in my inner circle. Today we have a Northwest battle rap and music icon, a guy I have known since I was 17 years old, my big brother Stuey Newton. Stewie, how you doing, fam?
What's going on, bro? Man, I'm blessed, man. It's good to see you, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Anytime I get to hang out with my friends and talk about, you know me. I have some very talented friends. I've always said I'm on the bottom of the totem pole.
You got
So
a lot of talented friends. You got
yeah,
a whole lot of them,
yeah.
for real.
So blessed to do this show where I can let people know the kind of talented friends I do have and talk about them about their lives.
Absolutely.
So um so again, you're from anyone who does not know, my brother Stewie here is from the great city of Federal, Washington. Uh, First off, what was it like growing up in Federal Way? I very spent a little bit of time in Federal Way, so I don't know much about it. What was it like growing up in Federal?
Federal Way is like it's real diverse. You know what I mean? So like I got the chance to grow up with like all different walks of life of people. Like you go to certain places and you realize like they've never actually seen like a Samoan person or like a Filipino person like, in real life. So like, it was real diverse. You know what I mean? I had a pretty good childhood, you know what I'm saying? Single mom type shit, she worked her ass off to take care of three knucklehead ass kids, you know what I'm saying? But it was like a shadowy underworld almost because like on the surface like Federal Way is like a quiet kind of suburb town. You know what I mean? But then it's like when you start shaking certain hands and sitting at certain tables, you start to realize like it's a dark side to Federal Way. You know what I'm saying? And so, I kind of got to see both, growing up, started out playing sports. I was playing basketball. And I came from a sports family. I played basketball. My sister played basketball. My brother played basketball, soccer, and football. You know what I'm saying? So like we came from like a sports family, but once I hit a certain age, you know what I mean, start hanging out with certain people, I kind of got exposed to that underworld side, and then we started getting into crime and stuff like that. So like Federal Way is one of those places where it's like it's really kind of what you make it. If you stay out the way and you don't really, get in the wrong crowd, like you'll probably have a somewhat of a good time in Federal Way, at least an easygoing time. But then you get involved in the wrong people, and then it can start to get kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? So Federal Way is a real place where it's like the choice is yours. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like if somebody's successful from Federal Way, they really chose to be successful. If somebody from Federal Way has their life messed up, they kind of chose to have their life messed up because you could go either avenue in Federal Way.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so Federal Way does have a lot of great musical artists. They're very talented town. Since I've been in the local scene, I've gotten to notice that. Do you think artists like you from Federal Way have a chip on their shoulder, or the town has a chip on their shoulder because you aren't that Tacoma or Seattle that gets most of the eyes on them?
Absolutely. I feel like Federal Way's kind of always been like that. You know what I'm saying? Even just outside of like the music, that's just kind of like the Federal Way mentality because we're right smack dab in the middle of the two major cities. You know what I mean? We're right in between Seattle. We're right in between Seattle and Tacoma. So it's like we're constantly kind of in those cities' shadows. So it's like we know coming from Federal Way, we really got to have a little bit more pep in our step to get heard and seen and respected. You know what I mean? And like I said, growing up in Federal Way, I've seen a lot and I've watched people take the safe route. And, I went to school with people, middle school, elementary school, high school, but they're known as Tacoma cats or they're known as Seattle cats because that's the safer route. They know that if they want people to respect them, that's how they have to present. Whereas you got very rarely, very few people that will really hold the turf down and say, this is Federal Way. we're the real deal and we got something to say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we definitely coming with a chip on our shoulder. You know, we definitely want to prove that, you know, real people come from Federal Way, real artists come from Federal Way. You know what I'm saying? Respect us like you would respect anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I've always loved about you and Jay, because you guys definitely put fucking Federal Way on your backs in the music and in the battle rap world, and make it known that you aren't from, the two known towns. That's
Facts.
always what I loved about you too.
Big
Uh,
facts. Shout out to my boy Jay because he on that smack stage talking that Federal Way shit unapologetically, and I love it.
yeah,
You know what I'm
it,
saying? Love
yeah,
it. On the highest stage in the world, battling people from Compton, battling people from Detroit, battling people from real crazy inner city areas in America, but still saying that's cool, but I'm from Federal Way, bro. I love it.
yeah. Shout out to our brother Jay the Nightwing. Uh, so again, you are a music artist. What were you listening to growing up? What like who are your musical influences? What was mom's listening to?
Man, like see, I got lucky because like my family's kind of always like a musical inclined family too. Like my mom used to sing in a couple of bands and stuff like that. So I was just always like my mom really was into music. You know what I mean? Like she was always listening to music. So growing up, man, I listened to everything. You know what I'm saying? Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Biggie, Mob Deep, the Loonies, Yuck Mouth, Tila, Young Bleed, Scarface, the Ghetto
Young
Boy.
Bleed. Holy shit.
Yeah,
You
man.
you
Like
know where that comes from with me. That I haven't somebody else say that name in a long time.
Young Bleed, TRU, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, I grew up listening to everything, Cash Money. I even remember Cardinal Official back in the day, Cannabis, Eminem. Like I was lucky enough to where, you know, my mom she had a broad musical sense. So I'm listening to all types of music, you know what I mean? Even like down to R&B, Cut Close, and you know, the Silk, and after seven, and Boys to Men, Jodeci, you know what I mean? Changing faces, like, you know. So I just grew up listening to just a lot of music.
Uh, so when did you start picking up the pen and start writing yourself and thinking about the rapping being a pathway?
So according to my mom, I've been writing poems since I was like 5 or 6 years old. You know what I mean? And I don't remember writing any of these poems. My mom just not too long ago, she had showed me one from when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And it's like that's crazy because I have no recollection of writing them.
Mm,
You know, but it's mine. It's my horrible handwriting. I know my handwriting from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
yeah, no, I wrote this. You know, but I would say the first time I actually wrote a rap song was in the second grade. I was 8 years old, and honestly, I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't what made me want to do it. I was just sitting down one day, and I was just like, I want to write a song, and I wrote a song, and it was about my favorite baseball team at the time. Crazy, but I wrote the song, and it was just like I don't know. I just felt the addiction from it. Since then, it was just like I'm gonna keep this going.
that's fire. That's really fire.
Yeah.
Uh, so how did you get into the battling? When does because music and battling for a lot of people that's hand in hand. When did you remember your first battle, your first sidewalk? Was it in at school? Was it on the street?
So like it's crazy you said that. Like a lot of people felt like they go hand in hand. Like, you know, back in that time, like, you know, that's how I felt. A lot of the time it seemed like people would end up battling just because they thought they was a nice MC and they were running to somebody else who thought they was a nice MC. So you ended up battling. You know what I mean? It wasn't really like a battle rap as a
Yeah,
subgenre because the goal was to still be an artist and make music. So you know, like I said, I wrote my first song when I was about 8 years old. Me and my brother, we was really into the Source magazine. So we would go get the Source magazine every issue from the store. They had a battle rap section in the back, and we found out that they was having battle rap on TV. So we watched it, and that night we just stayed up all night battle rapping each other. Me and my brother and his homeboy. You know, my brother's like 4 years older than me. So We all just stayed up battle rapping each other all night. And then that same week, one day, my brother came back home from school and he brought all his homeboys with you. So I'm 10. This is my brother like 14. And he hang out with older cats too. So we got cats with him all the way from 14 to 18. Like 20 cats walking down the street. You knock on the door, I come out. He's like, you gotta battle everybody out here. You can't, he's like, I need to come outside, battle everybody out here, and you can't go back inside until you battle everybody out here. And I battled everybody out there, 10 years old. You know what I'm
Big
saying?
bro just put you on the spot like that?
Straight up. Like real talk. Like I was really just coming home from school, wasn't nothing major. I was just chilling in the house. You know what I'm saying? He came in, he was like, yeah, no, come outside. And I looked outside and seen all the people walking down the street. He said, I need you to battle everybody out here. And you can't go back inside until you do. And you know,
Big
I
bro
did.
knew you had it in you. So
He knew that he knew I really had something going. So he was like, man, we gotta unlock it for real. And like from that point on, I pretty much was freestyle battling any chance I got. You know, it was unfair for any kid that was my age. It was just unfair. You know what I'm saying? If they thought they was good, it was unfair. Like it had been multiple lunch table, recess, freestyle sessions. You know what I mean? And that pretty much that lasted for a while. You know what I'm saying? I got locked up, came home, and I kind of reshifted my focus more to like music. You know, the freestyle battle rapping kind of wasn't as much of a big thing as it was back then. Like it was kind of more like Smack DVD and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, if you're not really looking to get on Smack DVD, you know, it's not really a lane for it at that time. You know, so I was more focused on music, but then somebody showed me Smack URL. They showed me Hitman versus Arsenal. That was the first battle I watched from this era.
great
So
battle.
I was hooked immediately. I was brought right back in. Like, oh, this is how it is now. Oh no, I need to get back in this. I need to get back involved. So boom, from there, I got in contact with Simi from the ABL. Shout out to Simi. And him and Safe really just, you feel me, threw me to the gauntlet, and the rest is history, you know?
That was going to be the next question. What was your earliest memories with the ABL and the RIP to the late great Safe? Like, man, I know I've told you this behind the scenes. A guy I wish I had gotten able to meet. He died literally like right as I was coming into the scene. I've
Yeah.
heard so many great things about him. What are your great memories about that early ABL days and Safe in general?
Man, the thing that I like the most about back then and why to me it just holds a special place, you feel me, is because like the way Safe moved was a completely different thing that we've never seen before. Like Safe was finding ways, like Safe was infiltrating the colleges. You know what I mean? Safe was infiltrating the colleges like, yo, okay, there's an English class today. We're gonna run up in there. They're gonna have us as a special guest today, and we're gonna have a couple one-round battles as an exhibit of what battle rap is and how it relates to the English language.
I
So
never knew that.
yeah,
That's
so
fire.
that's why the crowds were so big back then. Because Safe was really innovative when it came to getting new people in the door. Like, okay, there's performances and stuff like that tonight. Okay, ABL, we want to book a performance slot. We're gonna have a couple one round battles real quick, you know, at the club or at the bar. You know what I mean? Brings more people to the battles. You know what I mean? Doing something like that is actually how I met Legacy Jones. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the
Doing
homie Legacy.
doing that is how I met Legacy actually, because we was doing a battle at some event up there in like Puyallup or something like that, and we just had like a few just one off, just real quick one round battles. You know what I'm saying? I battled LS. I actually battled LS that night. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Else?
yeah, I battled LS that night. It was crazy, but like it's like he was just a different type of monster when it came to being in the community and really getting people to pay attention to what we had going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to step on anybody else's toes that's doing what they do out here, because everybody's doing what they can. But I feel like somebody should take a page out of Safe's book one of these days and just try to do something different than the standard way of marketing and promoting, because Safe put his heart into this shit. You know what I mean? Like I watched him get physical posters, staple them up all over town. Like, you know, he just had a different grit when it came to making sure that everybody got a chance to be looked at. And the dopest thing about Safe was he told all of us that we was his favorite. You know what I mean? He told every last one of us that we was his favorite. You know what I'm saying? Because he believed in us and he wanted to bring the best out of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just unfortunate how everything went, you know what I mean? And how he passed away and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? That was just a different time because it was just so exciting. You know what I mean? Like Safe really kept it exciting, you know? And I just remember when another thing like about like the ABL early days, something that I really appreciated was the fact that if you got 30'd in a battle, bro, you got 30'd in a battle. That's all there is to it. You know, all these 2-1s and participation trophies and stuff like that. They start acting like people are bullying if somebody says you got 30. Bro, if you got 30, you got 30. You know, but it's like now it's too saturated and it's too soft. Whereas back then it's like you knew what was on the line and you knew what you had to do to get your respect. You know what I'm saying? And you either got your respect or you didn't. And if you didn't, you had to either come back and try again or, you know, walk in the other direction. You know, and I think that was a big thing too, was like, you know, the line of talent was pushed. You know, we really were trying to be turned into stars. Whereas now, you know, a lot of attention comes to battle rap. So people just trying to get that 15 seconds of fame. Shit like that wouldn't have lasted in the ABL era. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like it wouldn't have lasted. You would have got cooked. You would have got humiliated. You're out of here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I could go on forever about that time just because that was the best time to me. That was the time where I feel like I had the most fun.
Yeah. I watched the ABL from afar in those early days, and what I loved about the ABL, and again, as you know me, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Y'all had so many fucking crews, and everyone was repping a team. It was
Facts.
faction warfare. It
Facts.
was crazy.
Facts. And that's crazy you said that because even like that element doesn't exist. Like, you know, people clicking up and like causing controversy. It's like right now we're just like waiting from card to card. You know what I mean? Like we're just going card to card like a motherfucker living check to check. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like we're just living card to card right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, when you have the front lines and the BMFCs and you know what I'm saying, the good hood monies, the young hood monies, and you know what I mean. Like that was a special time. The ACFs, that was a special time. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, man, I would love to see that, you know, recreated again. You know what I mean? In somehow, some way. You know.
So we met here in Olympia.
Yep.
Uh you got how did you get linked up with the OGSP and the We Out Here showcases? Uh
So
doing these shows how at the Olympia Ballroom. A weird ass venue, by the way.
right,
That was anybody who's watching this from Olympia know about the ballroom and that broken ass elevator and those fucking stairs on the
man,
second floor.
the stairs, yeah, the stairs are crazy. Those stairs are
In a
crazy.
building with a restaurant, a tattoo shop, and apartments.
Facts. Facts. No, that was a crazy venue for sure. That was a crazy venue, but you know, that was such a landmark of, you know what I'm saying, that time in that era. And just like when Olympia really kind of started like, you know, leaving their name in the concrete, you know what I mean? Um, as far as like SP, you know, I feel like we kind of always were like lightweight connected, you know, or like we kind of like knew of each other, but I went to one of the first We Out Here events, and that's what kind of really like locked everything in because I told SP straight up, like, man, I want to battle out here. You know what I'm saying? I want to battle out here. I like the energy out here. I want to battle out here. So I had 2 battles set up back to back. I battled Patron and I battled Heretic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was at
So
both those shits.
yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Classic times in our local culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, we knew of a lot of people in the same circles. So like when the time was right, like we just clicked up and everything worked out. You know what I'm saying?
Those were yeah, I miss those 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 Olympia ballroom shows and those shows at the Northern where
Yeah,
that was a good time. That was a special time.
for sure. For
Um,
sure.
what was it like coming to Olympia? Because Olympia, compared to like a Tacoma or Federal Way, it's very, how do I put this? Uh, it's whitewashed and it's very, hipsterish.
Yeah,
And there's certain things you can't say in front of an Olympia crowd, and there's certain things that Olympia crowd and the venues we did, they weren't always like just the show. Like we did shows in the bars where there's other people and they don't know what's going on. What was it
right.
like coming to Olympia in front of those crowds?
To be honest, like it definitely was challenging, but like one thing about me is like that's something being challenging is more likely to have me run towards it than run away from it. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at it like, yo, this is the ultimate challenge. Like, if you nice, you nice. It shouldn't matter if it's like, oh, I went over here and they was a little whitewash and they may not was getting jiggy with my vibe or they may not have caught my references. But nah, if you nice, you nice. You know how to control any room. You know how to make any room explode. So, you know, that was the challenge for me. And it is a lot different. You know what I'm saying? It's because the typical culture of people in Olympia is a lot different from Seattle and Tacoma, and you know what I'm saying. But to me, that's what made me want to rap there because it's like, okay, I got to get out my comfort zone. I got to try something different. I got to really use skills, and you know what I'm saying, and figure out a way to get a win in a place where I've never been before. So I loved it, man. I loved it, and over time, I feel like Olympia grew to be one of the best crowds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel like Olympia
selfishly,
grew to be one of the
biasly,
best crowds.
yeah, we do have some great crowds. Uh,
Yeah, because the thing is, the people in Olympia are genuinely happy to be there. So they're genuinely happy to see the shit and be at this event. Like they're genuinely there to enjoy what the fuck is going on. So you can really get all your shit off there. You can get off bars, you can get off lyricism, gum bars, some humor, whatever it is. If it's good, Olympia's fucking with you.
yeah, that's facts. Very much. Um, so you are proudly one of the first member of the Washington State Battle Rap scene to hit the big stages like a URL. What was it like? How did you get that first call? And like, who were you linking up with to get that first like salute to like you're putting in that work and you're doing this shit?
Uh, that was a combination of things, man. Excuse me. It was a combination of things. It was a combination of hard work and network. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was battling in the ABL, somehow I ran across KG the poet. You know what I mean? And we just kind of just started networking like individually. You know what I'm saying? Like when he had a battle drop, he would share it to me. When I had a battle drop, I would share it to him. And we would share each other's work and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is before KG was who he was. So KG was getting 660 views a battle at this time. Like, you know what I mean? So we're genuinely just networking, just trying to help each other get our shit up. Then fast forward a little bit more, King of the Dot had the event out here in Seattle, and I battled Hypnosis, and I had a good track record with Aspect One because of that. So Aspect One always remembered me because of that. So by the luck of the draw, some time passes, and URL says we're gonna do this West Coast thing for real. We're gonna have it be KG and Aspect One as the heads. So how that worked was I was automatically one of the first people they thought of. Like, we got to get Stewie. You know what I'm saying? Like, they both could agree that they had to get me on. So that was really just like I said, hard work and networking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I stayed battling, you know, in like 2011, 2012, like there was a battle event every single month. Sometimes there was events twice a month, and I was on every single card and I was making sure I was going crazy every time. So I was just, applying a lot of pressure and, like trying to change the landscape of this shit. Like, I try to make it be known, like, you come out here, you got to really come with some shit. So I just kind of always stayed relevant through working, stayed visible. So, and then when the puzzle pieces align, it's like, yo, okay, You got Aspect over here, you got KG over here, and they both could agree that we got to get Stewie on this card.
Yeah. Um. So, when did you realize what was the battle during the time doing URL that you were like, I made it, or like this is like I'm a name now? Was there a battle during that?
I say I say when I battled HA double, just because like after that, like it just seemed like everybody was on the Stewie train. You know what I'm saying?
You would say
Because
you got from New Orleans. That
yeah, hey, the moment was so crazy, man. I just remember just like everybody from uh remember Al Capone cigarillos?
yes.
Man, I'm talking about everybody from Al Capone cigarillos to B Dot to Daylight to Danny Myers to Lush.
You had Danny spin across the screen with that fucking little flip to HA Double's homie.
Man, I'm telling you, like the venue went crazy. And mind you, me and HA Double on paper was one of the smallest battles on the card. But that moment alone that talked to that fucking boy was the moment of that entire weekend. So everybody was on my movement. Like, even down to the fact, like, Smack came up to me personally after the battle. You feel me? Like Smack was fucking with me so tough. Beasley had to intervene. Like, all right, man, Smack, you're getting too cool with this nigga. You know, because I'm sitting here talking to Smack, and Smack straight up told me at this time. He said, "Look, we're doing another Born Legacy in 4 weeks. Can you do it?" And honestly, at that time, I wasn't too sure of my prep, so I was like, "I'm not gonna say I can do it because I'm not too sure of my prep right now." you know. But he was like, well, it's on the table. He's like, matter of fact, look, here's my number if you change your mind. Smack gave me his personal phone number. That's when Beasley came in and be like, hold on, Smack, you doing too much, giving niggas your phone number. Look, Stewie, call me. Here's my phone number. And then Beasley gave me his phone number. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of when I knew, like, damn, I got Smack and Beasley's number within 10 seconds. Like, that's what kind of let me know. And then, from that point on, every time I seen Smack, he was always just turned up. Every time, Stewie, what up, son? Rip your set, son. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, yeah, the HA double battle probably was that moment.
Yeah. You've also been able to battle on the second biggest the league in North America. Shout out the King of the Dot. You did the tournament during the COVID era. Uh, what was that like? How did that link up? How did that come into play? And what was that experience like? Because that was an interesting time in battle rap.
Very interesting time in battle rap. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. I actually had the first battle in that whole season. Like, a lot of people don't even know that. Like, me and Caustic was the first battle to kick off the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good opportunity, man. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that, somebody would even consider me to have a chance to win $100,000, man. Like, that must mean that people think something of you. You know what I'm saying? And, again, I just feel like that was a result of hard work and network. You know what I'm saying? I've been all over URL. I done spit that heat, body bag battle league. We go hard. You know what I mean? So many different battle leagues. And, like I said in the HA double battle, Lush One was there. So that always made sure that Lush would remember who I was. So when it came back around, Lush contacted me directly about being on King of the Dot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he straight up was like, "Man, look, I want you on the season. What's up?" So I was like, "Yep, let's do it." You know what I mean? And granted, I had a little fallout with URL because of it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that was strictly Lush One's doing. You know what I'm saying? Lush One brought me in for that directly. You know what I'm saying? He was my main point of contact. Salute to Lush One. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people say certain things about him, but all I could say is everything that I've ever been involved with as far as Lush was just straight up. Everything he ever did in my presence in regards to me was stand up, straight up.
Yeah, I've met Lush once. He's always been cool with me. Yeah, I can't say anything, nothing but great things about Lush. Salute to him. Uh, So you've battled in the two meccas when it comes to battle rap. What what are the differences, and what city have you preferred, LA or NYC?
Mm. The difference between URL and KOTD is that they're tough crowds, but tough crowds for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Um, KOTD, what I learned is, you know what I'm saying, like they like their fan favorites, their crowd favorites are real deal crowd favorites. So anytime you go into there with battling one of their crowd favorites, it does not matter how much better you think they are. This is going to be a tough match because in the building, it always hits different in the building. And you're affected by things that happen in the building. So it's like you really have to be on top of your A game that's on top of its A game because they're ready to hype up their favorite. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even saying that as necessarily a bad thing. They put in the work. I'm just saying for somebody that had to battle three favorites back to back in the season. You know what I'm saying? I had to battle Caustic, then Reverse Live, then Mad Flex. If we're talking KOTD favorites, I probably had the toughest schedule out of everybody in the season. You know what I'm saying?
Legends and veterans in California who
All of them, all three of them. You know what I'm saying? Like solidified there. You know what I mean? So, very, very different. KOTD kind of more prefers like rapping ability and humor. You know what I'm saying? Whereas URL, I feel like they kind of more prefer like punchlines, haymakers, and that real rap. You know what I'm saying? That gutter shit. You know what I mean? So, there is some differences. You know what I mean? But if I had a preference as far as where I choose to battle, I'd probably say LA just because, you know, LA is a good place to go to figure out where you're at with this shit. Because if you're good, LA's gonna cheer for you. They don't have to like you, know you, none of that. They don't have to worry about any of that. If you're good, they're gonna cheer for you. But if you're bad, they're gonna boo you off the stage. And the reason why I say LA over NYC because NYC is gonna boo you off the stage if you're anything less than A plus. So that's New York's one of the toughest stages out there, like for sure.
uh so is there anything left for you in the music game and in or battle rap?
Battle rap, nah. You know what I mean? I pretty much just washed my hands with it. You know what I mean? I had a good time when I was there. It did help me with my career a lot, but I just feel like what I've grown into thus far is just kind of something that makes battle rap not necessary. You know what I mean? And I'll be seeing these battles sometimes. I was watching a battle recently, and both of the dudes I was battling was my age, and both of their beards were completely silver. And I was just like, this is why I stopped battle rapping. I feel like if I stayed battle rapping, my face would be silver too. So I'm pretty much I'm done with that. You know what I mean? As far as music, not really either. You know what I mean? I'm at a place where, I'm a lot older now. I'm unk now. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 36 years old. So you know, I really just make music because it's like release therapy for me, and I have fans who actually do want to listen to the music that I make. So I make music kind of more for that purpose, not necessarily to be rich and famous. So on that type of note, I probably got like two more projects left in me for real, like full complete projects. After that, I probably won't be dropping any more projects, and you're probably just gonna hear me more just rapping, like doing features for other people and stuff like that. So I feel like I've done a lot in the game, man. I'm a lot older now, like I said, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it wouldn't be wrong if I decided, I'm gonna hang it up here in the near future.
Okay, we're gonna. So I'm gonna end these interviews with a game I call this or that, and
Mm.
I specific this to the people I'm interviewing. So we're gonna start this with question number one: Dick's Drive-In Burgers or a Seattle hot dog?
I'm gonna say Dick's Drive-In Burgers for sure. You know what I'm saying? Seattle hot dogs go crazy, but I'm just a burger over hot dog type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Pause if necessary.
Yeah. Macklemore or Sir Mix-a-Lot?
It's actually tough. That's actually pretty tough. Um, I'm gonna say mix a lot. I'm gonna say mix a lot simply because I kind of do favor people that pave the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I do kind of favor the people where I feel like, well, they kind of made it possible for others to do what they even did in the first place. So I'm gonna say mix.
Okay. Izell's or Nana's Southern Chicken?
You want to know what's crazy? I ain't had either one of those yet, man. I've been meaning to. I haven't.
Hold up, hold up. You've been here. What?
I haven't had either one of those yet. I haven't had either one of those yet, man. You know what I'm saying? Me and my girl was talking about going to Nana's soon. You know what I'm saying? But
I
nah,
just
I haven't had a chance to get either
That's
one of those.
crazy. I feel like Izell's or Nana's is like something you have to do.
Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, so like, there's one like by where I live, but like everybody from Seattle's like, you ain't had these L's, it don't count. You know what I'm saying? Because like they're saying the one that's like Skyway by the old standing on top barbershop, like that's the original one. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
guess, and I guess like the recipe's not the same no more. So like avid people will say like if you had
Okay.
yeah. So like avid people will let you know like if you had these ales after a certain time, you haven't actually had the real Ezels. The real recipe actually is in a place called Heavenly Fried Chicken.
Oh,
That's the actual owner of Ezels with the actual original recipe. So if you want the real Ezels recipe, you got to go to Heavenly Fried Chicken.
alrighty then. I just gotta put them in game. All right.
You know what
So
I'm
Jordans or Adidas?
saying?
Still you a shoe
I
head.
Hey, Adidas all day. I ain't gonna cap, man. Adidas all day. You know what I'm saying? One thing about the Jordans is like my mom kind of played that out for me. You know, I'm kind of glad that she did because it made me like think different as far as shoes. So like when I was coming up, I had all the marquee. I had all the Jordans. I had the Deion Sanders, the Diamond Turfs. I had the Hakeem. This is when everybody had a shoe. I had Hakeem Olajuwons. I had the motherfucking the Larry Johnsons. I had the goddamn Charles Barkley's. I had the Grant Hills. I had the Pennies. I had the Anthony Hardaway. I had the Shaqs. I had the Sean Kemps, the Kamikaze. I had them all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, one day when my mom finally let me start picking out my own sauce, it's like, well, I want to do something different than you've been getting me this whole time. So, I actually do have a pretty crazy Adidas collection now. So yeah, Adidas for sure, man. Three stripes. Yeah.
All right. So last one, just because I know you travel and outside of Battle Rap,
Mm.
just to visit vacation, New York City or LA.
I'm gonna say LA, man. I'm gonna say LA, and I'm gonna say LA for two reasons: because of weather and food. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
In New York, got some bomb food. Like New York got like sneaky food. Like you go to like an organic bodega in New York, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's some of the best shit you ever had in your life. But I'm just biased to that West Coast, man. You know what I'm saying? When I could just go pull up at just the dirtiest looking taco truck in the world, and it's just the most authentic, best fucking tacos you ever gonna get in your life. You know what I'm saying? And then just like I'm a sucker for Fat Sal's. I ain't gonna lie, man. When I go hit LA, I gotta go to Hollywood and go hit Fat Sal's. You know what I'm saying? So, but the weather and the food, man, I definitely gotta say LA.
all right. All righty then. Well, first off, Stewie, thank you for doing this interview.
Hey man, thank you, bro. For real, for real.
And I do this show sneakily so I can give my friends their flowers. And for you've known me since I was in high school, and you've had my back since day one. You were one of the first non-Olympians to really be there for me through
Yeah.
everything. So I just want to thank you for everything.
All good, bro. You already know, man. You know what I'm saying? You already know. You know what I'm saying? It's in my nature, man. It's in my nature. You know what I'm saying? I just knew like when I met you, I was just like, yeah, man, this bro right here. You feel what I'm saying? And ain't nobody fuck with him because they're gonna have to fuck with me. Straight up like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's been nothing but love from day one, bro. You already know.
So let everyone know where they can find you, social medias and the whatnot.
Hey man, y'all can follow me at Stewie Hella Toxic on all social medias at Stewie Hella Toxic. That includes Cash App, Venmo, all that. In case you want to pay me.
And one last time, hit him with the slogan. I haven't heard the slogan in a bit.
Hey man, Stewie fucking dude, you can't take shots. I do the fucking shooting. Fuck your baby mama long, dick style, shoot your baby daddy long, clip style. My new slogan: let him sleep. How else you supposed to rest in peace? Beanie Siegel, Liam Neeson, Leonidas Negan from The Walking Dead, Bruce Leroy, Jet Li.
Salute y'all. Salute you, Stewie. We'll see y'all later.